think the subject of knife crime is a very pressing, important issue in society today. Certainly through the course of my job for the last few years, I've noticed that it's become more prevalent, especially in youngsters who, in my opinion, don't understand the consequences of their actions when they do carry knives.
The project began when we were at a staff development day in the town hall, and we were told how James Watt College was involved in getting young people off the streets at the weekend. The police go out, round up any young people in the streets, and then they were bringing them back to the waterfront, and in there they had tables set up with lots of activities of things that the young people could do with their time. It was very, very successful, and we felt very much a part of that, as it was our studio that was being used. John Muir's son was killed. He was stabbed 8 times, and I know the family, and I just felt for them, if I can do anything to help their campaign, then that would be useful. It's also part of the devising theatre unit that the students study in first year. Phones, obviously. First of all, the students have to learn about the devising process and what's actually involved in it.
What does that say?
They need to know about scripting and the structure of a script.
I was in it. She was in it. Were you doing it?
So we spent quite a few weeks just looking at that and experimenting with ideas, and then we introduced the topic of knife crime.
Here, look at this.
Oh, that's minty.
I got this from the house. Here, take it and make sure this lassie doesn't come back up here again.
It was quite hard to begin with because we didn't know the target audience, and then when we found out that it was primary 7, we've had to hold back on certain stuff that we can show to them, and our language has to change.
And they need to pick up what you say. You need to slow down and be very definite about what you say. All right. So although that's realistic, that's exactly how you all talk. That can't be for this. It's got to be a bit more than that. You've actually got to say really, really clear.
Really clearly.
Really clear. So what the first line is, did you see
that Tom was scoring there?
We had to get our facts right here because it is what we call drama in education. So we brought in the campus officer, Laura Barnes, and she gave us plenty of advice and help.
The students approached me in November last year. They were looking into the possibility of doing a workshop and a drama for primary 7s. I believe it's something they tend to do for their project. On this occasion they wanted to do something that was hard-hitting, and the idea of knife crime was an excellent example. I think that the script is very current, very relevant, in that it targets not only the victim, which is usually where the focus lies, but it also targets the offender.
You never got it from me, I'm not touching that.
I'm away, man.
I'm out of here.
I always leave it, you know.
There are many parts of it which are relevant to everyday life. There's a few that remind me of occasions where I have dealt with people as young as 10, 11 carrying knives.
Staging, that's what I spent a bit of time on yesterday. They spent lots of time coming together with their script. Ideas, everybody pitching a line, and they maybe wouldn't agree, then they weren't really sure what way they were taking the scene.
We got into several groups and we ended up doing like short improvisations. One of them was West Side Story. We done the opening scene to that just to see how it would feel to be in a gang. And we've done research on the internet, just looking up different groups that have also tackled knife crime.
We decided that our group was going to focus on the aftermath and the consequences of it. So yeah, we researched children's panels and the whole court layout and how it would happen, how would someone of that age would be judged.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Court Factor. I'm Donald McCleary, these are our other judges, Danny and Lou.
Good, that's much better. She's laughing now, so what we...
Then once we got like a rough guideline, that's when we all just gave in our small ideas, which then gradually got bigger and bigger, and then each group joined the script together and we had it.
You're right. We're definitely not friends.
I've always been interested in drama since I was about 5. It's been what I've wanted to do, either acting or drama teaching.
I don't want to be here anymore.
I just really enjoyed it, like going out around the community and doing little things about certain subjects. My teacher at the time told me to come and audition for James Watt. Just from there, I've really enjoyed it.
Double that.
I did university and I wasn't enjoying the course. I did accountancy for a year. I found out that that course was running and it sounded pretty good, so I decided to go ahead and see what it was like. I had started acting when I was like 3 years old. My mum put me into local drama groups, and then I started PACE Youth Theatre. My sister done this course 8 years ago. Now she has an honours degree, and she's always been a huge influence to me.
I can't believe our friendships ended like this.
The group was hit with a bout of swine flu. So every week, at least one, if not two people were off. And they weren't just off for one day, they maybe be off for a fortnight. In fact, one student was so ill, they were unable to finish the project itself.
It was difficult with a couple of members of our group being off ill, especially during like peak times when it was either we needed to really rehearse or because obviously the script is always changing. We were changing over stuff and changing lines and doing voiceovers, and we couldn't do it because people weren't there.
It did create some problems because people were a bit unsure if they would like it when they came back. And all I said was, it doesn't matter, they'll just have to like it, whether they were there or not that day to have their tuppence worth in. And they were absolutely fine with it when they came back, so it actually at the end worked out okay. Once we had the whole thing put together, we then had to decide how the second year HND class were going to do the workshop. So we invited them in to watch us at work, and they just got a rough idea of what the piece was going to be about. And from that, they went off and they had to come up with a workshop that linked in.
I'm very disappointed in you girls.
There's a lot of pressure on us for next week because the money people are coming to see it, and if we don't impress them, then they're not going to give us the funding for it. And also, there's a guy coming that could commission us for work next year. So there's that pressure. So that's kind of like not taking the excitement away, but sort of dulling it down a little bit. But personally, I never really get excited about a show until the opening night.
Feet comfortably apart, arms by your side, head and neck to the side, to the centre, side, centre. We begin the year building an ensemble. I've got my ensemble now. Centre, side. Think about who your character is and what we're trying to do with this piece of drama. It's really important that you remain focused throughout the process. They work very well together and they don't let anything that's happening outside the class inside the class. Bit of maturity, whereas you don't get that at the beginning. I'm allowing you to use your scripts for the blocking purposes, and then we'll do a run through and then we'll go for a take. Alright, so think focused. Alright, it's really important if you're sitting watching that you're supporting the others and not making it more difficult for them.
I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being on stage, and I'm looking forward to being in front of an audience, and I'm looking forward to being with the rest of the cast. But right now I'm not hugely fussed about what it is we're doing, but the night that we go to do it, I will be. I'll open the floodgates and stuff, so yes, I suppose I am looking forward to doing it.
Statement. Blackout. We've had 7 days, I think about 12 schools have come in over those 7 days to have the performance and the workshop.
Oh God, what's happened? Is she okay? Why are you saying her name like that?
She's going to be okay, she's been taken good care of.
Now after each performance it's very, very quiet. You can actually hear a pin drop, and there's 70 people in the room and you can't hear a thing. They really are taken in by all of it. I would go round and chat to the children and ask them what they thought of it, what their favourite bit was. And at the beginning I got quite a fright because they said the weapons, and we discussed it, should we take the weapons out just to see what the reaction is. But everyone agreed that it's an excellent visual and it shows the progression from name calling to throwing a stone to weapons and then to a knife. They felt that the sequence wouldn't look right if there was no weapons there, but it was alarming listening to the young people say they liked the weapons.
Double. Is this?
At the end of the day, there were 500 children came through our doors. And as far as I'm concerned, if it stops one of them, from getting involved in knife crime, then it was all worthwhile. Okay, that's probably the best place. Well done, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted. Yeah, I think next week's going to be brilliant.
So guys, your first performance, how did you feel it went?
Really, really well. Really positive, I think.
Everybody came together at the last minute and made every prop work. That was the first time we did prop work, and the rostrums and everything worked perfectly.
The whole fact that we had an audience that time was much better for us because it gave us a bit more realism to what we were trying to achieve.
It's hard to get the emotion across, and actually the tears, and be kind of like, wow, I was the victim here, and show the audience how hard it is.
Well, the audience really got the fact of who's Molly and who's Becky and who's the gang, and why we chose the colours of red for danger and red for the gang and stuff. I think it came together brilliantly, and everybody around the costume.
And it's a really important cause as well, and I think to be able to portray what we want to get the message across, then it's good. Especially if it saves one person's life. We've done our job.